What's up, guys? How we doing? So I got a new mic. Hopefully this one sounds like I'm not talking into a tin can. I don't know what's up with me and these mics and having issues. I'm just not that good at it. Today's show is not a motocross or supercross related show. So if you come here just for that, you're out. This is not your show. This is a current event show. On my channel, I like to talk about what I like to talk about. And there's some current events that I really want to get into. I want to talk about these idiots vandalizing Teslas. I want to talk about this weird stock market crash. I want to talk about tariffs. I want to get into a little bit of racism and boys and girls sports. So if you don't want to hear me talk about any of that stuff, maybe just go to a different show. This one's not for you. Come back when it's a motocross show. I even put it in the headline, non-moto, so don't get pissed off. If you haven't tried Nano-Extreme, you are doing yourself a disservice. This is by far the best pain cream that I've ever used. They are going to give Big Pharma some problems because this stuff works and you don't need the stuff that they're pushing on us. So head over to Nano-Extreme, use code COOKSY, and use these natural supplements to heal your body the way it's supposed to. Check out Complete Racing Solutions. If you want to get in shape or you want to get your youth athlete into shape, head over to Complete Racing Solutions. Coach Rob has programs specifically designed for youth. Their bodies are completely different than adults and they need to be treated as such. Scientifically, it's a big deal. So head over to Complete Racing Solutions and let Coach Rob help you out. Ride Strapped, one of my favorite companies. Very, very patriotic company. They got the Let's Go Brandon goggles, or I think they sold out of those, but those are kind of past their time. But they're a great company that I am very happy to be partnered with. So hit up Ride Strapped for goggles, glasses, and maybe a red pill shirt.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
I gotta start off by saying, can somebody please tell me why these leftists are so mad at Elon Musk? I don't get it. He's auditing government spending. What's the problem? We pay our taxes. We should get to know where and how that money is being used and if it's being used responsibly. And it's not. I mean, look at the programs that they've come out with. Oh my God, the amount of fraud is widespread. I don't understand why these regular people and these people at these protests, I've yet to hear any of them give me a real reason other than they're just mad at Elon. They just throw out propaganda. Oh, he's a Nazi. Oh, he's a fascist. We didn't elect him. Actually, you did. Let's just take a look at the Biden administration. I think we can all agree Joe Biden was incompetent. Not because he's incompetent in life. He was old and he was losing his marbles. He was not actually in charge. So the Biden administration ran things. According to the election, whether you believe it or not, I know there was some messing around. It's suspicious, but I'm not going to have that debate. Let's just assume that he gets in there legitimately. Okay, so we voted for the Biden administration. To think that one person can do all of this on their own, that's just imaginary. That doesn't happen. You get a guy like Trump or Biden, they put together a team around them, and then they get elected. We are electing a team, not just one leader. There's a face, but it is a team of people that we elect. Elon Musk made no bones about it. He campaigned with Donald Trump. He was a part of it. They said this was coming the whole time. So yeah, he did get elected as part of Donald Trump's staff. That is what he got elected for. He has brought Doge into our government to audit people who audit us. Why is it okay for the IRS to audit us, but we can't check and see where all that money? If you look at our taxes, income, death, sales, we are taxed at I think it's over 50% of what we make. Half of our earnings go to the government, yet we're not even allowed to ask how and what they're using it on? Come on, that just doesn't sound right. And then the other people that don't like Donald Trump, they're like, oh, he's a chauvinist, he's, mean to women, and what he does business-wise is he puts the best people around him and the best people in charge. He does not care if they're a man, a woman, black, white, green. He doesn't care, and I like that. That's what I want. Truth be told, up until a few years ago, I didn't really like Trump. Yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job in his first term, but he made some big mistakes and he didn't do near what I expected him to do, what he had promised to do. This time, he's going after it, and it looks like he might get done a lot of the things he said he would get done. And while people might not like him as a person, yeah, he's a bit of a narcissist, but you kind of need a narcissist or a dominant person to take on this establishment that has gotten so strong. The World Economic Forum and the way that they have stolen our country from us, they did it right under our noses. They used our own money on propaganda to mess us up and cause problems and incite riots. Seriously. And I have heard from some of you guys who worked for the government or work for the government and are worried about losing your jobs or have lost your jobs. I feel really bad about that. Nobody wants to see anyone lose their job, but look at it from our perspective. You're working for something that is expendable. Maybe they made a mistake, and if they do, I hope they correct that. But if your job is unnecessary, I'm sorry, I don't want to pay for your career for a job that's unnecessary. Like I said, I don't want to see anyone get unemployed, and I do not want to see anyone go through hard times, but that doesn't mean I have to pay for it. You guys paying for everybody else, that's communism. I'm not a fan of communism. If you look at it through the history, it never works, and it turns into a few elite controlling the peasants. That's what communism is, and I don't want that here, and that's not what this country was founded on. This country was founded on the belief of you come over here, earn, and everybody has a right to earn success, earn wealth, and earn whatever they want. If you don't work for it, you won't get it. There's no handouts, and I don't want to hear about how our forefathers owned slaves and all this crazy arguments that a lot of leftists go to. Yeah, I know, they weren't perfect, but they had a pretty good idea of what worked and what didn't. So while they didn't get every single detail right, the overall idea of the United States of America is a good one and one that I welcome and that I'm very, very thankful of. Many, many soldiers have lost their lives giving us the right to pursue our dreams here in the United States. And it just pains me to see people handing these rights over just like, oh, okay, here you go. No. People died to give you those and you're just going to hand them over? Back to Doge. The fact that Elon Musk uncovered the USAID scam, it's huge, man. It is huge. The fact that our government is taking our aid money and funding media. Yeah, they're funding CNN, they're funding Politico, they're funding outlets. Essentially, that gives us state-run media. You know, like they have in communist countries and dictatorships, state-run media. It has to go through what they approve, and that's all we get to know. This is one of the things that our forefathers got right. The media is there, free media, to hold people accountable. Because when we know what they're doing, we won't let them do it. Now, if you just stay quiet and let things happen, you're part of the problem. But now they've got these government-run media outlets that are convincing people of this crazy stuff. They're causing problems on purpose to divide us and take control of this country. Wars aren't fought like they used to be. Yeah, some are. They got the Ukraine-Russia war, but there is war right now, and it has to do with technology, it has to do with media, it has to do with propaganda. That is what is going on here in the United States right now. Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, and all these knuckleheads have realized how much more important information is than guns, and they are trying to manipulate and control that information all the way through. Free speech? No, they've gone after everything, and what really threw a wrench into their plans was social media. Social media, we all had our own voice. They couldn't control it like they do our state-run media. So they dipped into that, and now they've gotten caught. I think it's still happening. It's still happening quite a bit. This video probably won't get very many, it won't get pushed out very far, so if you like this message, share it out, because Google, I don't know what's going on with them or who controls them, but they do not like when people share their own messages and their own opinions of what they see going on. They do not like logical thinkers. So think about this, guys. They are stealing your money to also cause problems for you. Create racial divide, create arguments over what's a man as a woman. They want us fighting. They do not want us to unite. United we stand, divided we fall. That's one of the basic things that the forefathers also got right. And like I said, well, they've got all of us fighting over a trans movement, racism. By the way, racism is not just white people towards black people. That is not the definition of racism. Racism is any race, white, black, Asian, Mexican, defining themselves as their race and despising somebody else because of their race. I was born the way I am. You were born the way you are. We did not get to choose that. That is not who we are. I am an American. An American, that's the values I hold. I don't care if someone's black, white, green. It doesn't matter. But this whole idea of reparations from white people because of what our ancestors did is ridiculous. George Soros and Bill Gates know this. What they want to do is create a divide. It's like a volley back and forth. Okay, well, let's, white people are racist. Now let's make the black people racist. And then the white people will be racist again. And it goes back and forth forever until we stop defining ourselves by our skin color and things that we don't get to choose. I believe we should define ourselves by who we are and what we stand for. And I stand for America. Please don't fall for all these state-run media outlets talking about reparations, the trans movement, putting boys and girls sports. The whole idea of communism is it's a temperature check to see how much they can get people to do. If they can get people to say a man is a woman and a woman is a man, they can get you to do anything. They know they've got you, and then they can make their next move, whatever that is. Very similar to COVID. When they knew masks didn't work, they still told you to wear them because they wanted to know who would go along with what they said and who were the outliers, who was going to stand up and cause problems. And if you can filter all the people who stand up for themselves and get them out of there, you can do whatever you want in this country. You will have 100% power. Speaking of this state-run manipulation by this media, to have people vandalizing Tesla cars, random Tesla cars, not necessarily, Elon doesn't own these, he sold these things, they're somebody else's. People with their own cars who probably were, listen, about 5 or 6 years ago when Teslas were out, they were a left car. All the left, the eco-terrorists, those people, that's who loved Tesla. Now that Elon stands up for Trump and stands up for things, they have changed the message. And now they're trying to tell you he's Hitler. They're trying to tell you he's all these horrible things that I don't think he is. Yeah, he's not perfect. He's a businessman. I'm sure he's made enemies. I'm sure he hasn't been great. I mean, he's got like 14 kids. The guy's doing some stuff, but he's rich. He can do what he wants. If you have that kind of money and you can support 14 kids, go for it. But for our state-run media to convince people to blindly attack other citizens, and I'm not talking about, like I said, Elon doesn't own those cars, to attack other citizens who might even share the same beliefs as them for no reason, that is 100% creating chaos. That is part of the state-run media program. And you might say, oh, well, no, the media has to try and tell the truth, right? No, they don't. There's an act called the Smith-Mundt Act, and it was put in, I think it was World War I or World War II, so we could put disinformation outside of the country. We could spread fake propaganda to control other countries, to get them on our side during wars. We could straight up lie. Well, in 2008, under the Obama administration, they passed the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. It made it legal for these companies to spread propaganda and control the United States people. Seriously, how did this not go noticed more? I'm telling you, look it up. Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. If you believe in mainstream media, CNN, Fox, or any of the mainstream media, Politico, anything that's mainstream, the government has got their hooks into it, and it is propaganda. Do not trust it. Hey guys, if you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. Pre-Transport, best shipping company out there. They really believe in customer service, treating people right, and reasonable pricing. Hit up pretransport.com. And if you need some motocross gear or some cycling gear, hit up aliasmx.com. They got their new ombre gear. It's limited, so you better hurry. So hit up aliasmx.com. So as for these tariffs,
I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. Never has an administration.
Can Americans withstand 400% tariffs? What would that look like?
I want Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. It's just not about tariffs anymore. Nobody has taken on China yet, not the Europeans, no administration for decades. I have nothing against the Chinese people. Finally, an administration, you may not like Trump, you may not like his style or his rhetoric, finally, an administration that puts up and says enough.
So tariffs are something that's necessary to level the playing field between countries to make sure we have fair trade. It hasn't been for a long, long time. We've had leaders on both the Republican and the Democrat side. And if you guys think this is just a Democrat problem, your head is in the sand. This is a problem. Republicans, Democrats, the whole system's broken. They both play off of each other. And we have had a series of leaders in this country who have taken money due to these super PACs for their elections. The only way you can get elected is these super PACs pay gigantic amounts of money. Where do you think that money comes from besides US aid? China and these people that want to take advantage of our population. They have gotten their hooks so far in, And I see, the state-run media saying, oh my gosh, they've crashed it. These tariffs are the worst thing ever. They have ruined our economy. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. The stock market, it's kind of fake. I mean, it's there, but is it really? It's just this number that goes up and down. Just hang on. Look at history. Every single time the stock market fluctuates, it's artificially manipulated by these powerful people. Bill Gates, George Soros, and the deep state. That's what they do. And they want to make the tariffs look bad, crash and I'm sure they all shorted a bunch of stuff before they crashed it. That's what they do. The game is rigged over on Wall Street. These elites like Bill Gates, Hillary Clinton, they look at us like cattle. They don't care. We're just chess pieces on their board. They despise us. We are the deplorables to them. We don't need to be here. If they could just run the world and have us just do everything for them, that's what they want. They want a communist state where they're on top and we're all scum and we can't do anything about it. That's why they're doing this. The thing I say about these tariffs and a lot of the economy decisions that are being made, it has been run into the ground for so long by corrupt politicians on both sides taking money and allowing it to get this far out of whack. It's going to take a second to adjust. Now, if you want to talk to me in June of 26 or June of 2027 and it's still bad, yeah, let's make an adjustment. But it just started. Give them a second to let these things. Donald Trump's a smart businessman and he's got smart people around him. Let them do their thing. We elected him. Let them do it. A lot of the reason that these people manipulate the stock market and make it crash is public appearance. They want to make it look like these tariffs crashed everything. Like I said, it's artificial. Don't fall for it. And I don't think Donald Trump is our savior. He's not the one that's going to fix everything, but he's the first man to step up there who's not part of this swamp. While he's clearly not perfect, he's got his own flaws. We needed a guy with a few flaws and get in there and rock the boat a little bit and shake up these people who've gotten so comfortable stealing from us and controlling us. We needed this. Now, this is just the first step. We need to keep this going. Remember, guys, our forefathers fought and died for our privileges as Americans. Do not hand them over. Do not fall for state-run media and their BS. And let's stop defining ourselves by what we were born with. None of us got to choose that. Not one of us got to choose to be born whatever race or color or look we are. That's what we were given. Deal with it. If you want to hold something against somebody, hold how they act against them. Don't hold their race against them. That's ridiculous. This is up to us to save our country. And people ask, well, dude, why don't you just stick on motocross? And why do you got to do videos on current events? Because I live in the United States and I'm proud to be an American. And I want to do my part from what I see. The silent majority are idiots. The silent majority are allowing this thing to get out of control. The silent majority have allowed us to have this happen. Silent majority is weak. We need to speak up. It's not time to stay quiet. This is the time when those of us who love this country and want the best for this country and want to continue, what was given to us, it's our duty for the next generation to speak up. That's why I do a show every once in a while based on current events and things that I see happening. And, I pay attention. I don't know a ton, but like I said, feel free to hit me up with any information. If there's anything in particular that Elon Musk or Donald Trump have done to deserve some of the hatred that they've got, please let me know. And I don't want to hear about grab them by the pussy or any of the stupid shit. I'm talking about real shit that affects me. While that's not great, and I wouldn't advise people say that and act like that, I don't care. Like, that really doesn't bother me that much. I don't want it. But if I take that versus stealing from us and doing the things that the other people have done, I worry about what the job is. Are they doing the job? Are they doing what's best for the American people? If they are, I'm good. I will overlook a lot of personal flaws if somebody is genuinely helping our country. And I think these two are, Elon and Donald Trump. Thank you, members. I appreciate everything. And this month, we're giving away a year-long subscription to Coach Rob's service.